Hey YouTube, this is Jaden coming at you, and in this video I'm going to be showing off my Gurguit Ezel deck profile. I filmed this once before and I uploaded it to the channel, but for some reason it was not showing to you guys, and it said something about the file was corrupted, and so I just deleted it and just decided to redo it again. And to be real honest, when I looked back and I watched the original, because I could have just re-uploaded it and did it again, there were a couple of things that I did not mention, and there was a couple of things I have changed since then, so maybe it was for the better anyway. So anyway, guys, Gold Paladin right now, Gold Paladin Gurguit right now is actually, the new ban list just got announced, and assuming you've seen it, I believe because the ban list finally hitting, you know, certain things, I will cover more about the ban list when I do my, I finally have Gear Chronicle to bring to you guys. I finally finished it. Well, not finished it. I had to get Heart Thump workers because I traded mine away thinking I had a second playset when I actually sold my second playset already and forgot, and then I just got so mad at myself I didn't want to touch it, and then I finally decided to pick them back up. I will discuss more about the list when I do that deck profile, but I think because of the list, Gold Paladin took a huge jump because right now, chain attacking is the best way to win games. It is by far the best way to win games. And there's a lot of decks out there that can do it. Gold Paladin, Gear Chronicle, not 7Cs anymore. The Night Rose builds that you see running around. You know, there are so many decks right now. If they can somehow chain attack and control the board at the same time, they become very, very deadly. And I really think Gold Paladin has a legitimate shot of being... well, let me rephrase that. In my opinion, Gurguit decks right now are tier 1 because they do have a lot of push to them, and they can chain attack for huge numbers. And some of them might get blocked, some of them might get blown up by cards like Griffin or Sky Guardian for Narukami, but it just... this deck can regenerate really quick, and if you are playing against a deck that does not generate hand advantage, you run over them pretty fast. And every tournament that I've played this in at my locals, I've won. And there are times you get your columns up so freaking high that they have to double G-guard, or they have to G-guard and then add 20k worth of shield. And, you know, and it's insane. So if you're looking for a deck to play in this format, I would recommend Gurguit, and mine specifically is a Gurguit Ezel deck, and I will explain why once we get into the deck. So anyway, let's jump straight into this deck profile. So for the starting Vanguard, we are running Knight of Early Dawn Coel. Coel is the one from the start deck that came out when Gurguit got his own start deck. This is by far the best starter for Gold Paladin until he gets his next support, which I'm really looking forward to seeing what the new Gurguit support is, and for the episode next week where Taiyu is going to fight Asha. Not Asha, Tokaha. So I'm looking forward to that episode to see what he gets next. But anyway, Forerunner runs out when Grade 1 rides him. But his other skill, Generation Break 1, Unite. You can put this unit into your soul and look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Search for one card among them, call it to your rearguard, then shuffle your deck, and the unit that you called with this card gets plus 2,000 power. So it helps you just continue your superior calls. It's really good for your first stride when you're 9 times out of 10 going to be going into Scourge first turn, so you can just continue that and continue the power distribution because it gets insane. Triggers, 4 Scarface Lion. This is our Gurguit Heart Thump clone. Gurguit on the field attacks, put him in the soul, plus 5k, draw a card. Works really good with Gurguit because it fuels his soul for his Generation Break, as does Flame of Victory. Put him in the soul, plus 3,000 power somewhere. I like this art of Flame of Victory better than the reprint. That's just me. Next we play 4 copies of Player of the Holy Pipe, Jerry. Jerry, his skill is Unite. This unit gets plus 3,000 power, and the auto skill of at the end of the battle that this unit either attacked or boosted, you can put this card into your soul and soul charge and countercharge 1. So he helps you unflip so you can continue your plays. I have considered dropping 2 Flame of Victory and putting in 2 Ketchkull. Because Ketchkull is an amazing card, but right now this has been working very well. Once we see the next support, if depending on what it is, I might actually go to the six stand triggers, because it really because if you do manage to crack one of these off on a turn that you've buffed your field, it is pretty scary to deal with. And then obviously 4 heal triggers. Always play the same heal trigger, the Liberator Puppy, because he's adorable. So you need heal triggers because G Guardians. So 8 crit, 4 stand, 4 heal. And the stand trigger, when he goes to the soul, he also fills Gurgit's ability as well. So 4 copies of Holy Mage Bridery. This is the Gold Paladin G Guardian, not G Guardian, Perfect Guard G that lets you unflip. The other Perfect Guard, a lot of people, they use the other perfects, like the original one. So if you call it off the top with Gurgit's Generation Break, you can use it. I have never found a situation where I need that, because you build up a hand actually pretty easily with this deck, because you don't normally play from your hand. You're usually just playing off the stride skill and then the other units that you call, so your hand stays conserved pretty easily. And you do counterblast a fair amount in this deck, so I use Bridery to help me on flip, because you want to be able to continue your plays. Next we play 4 copies of Knight of the Morning Light Horsa. This card is absolutely insane. Unite. When your other unit is placed on the rear guard, choose one of your other units in the same column as this unit, and that unit and this unit get plus 2,000 power. So it's Bruno on steroids almost, because it's boosting the column, not just himself. You can do some pretty nasty things when you do your Glorious Rain turns. Very good card. This should be a 4 of in the deck, easy. Next, we play 4 copies of Dawning of Night Garbotruck. This is our Gold Paladin Stride Enabler. I only play 7 grade 3s in this build, so I max out on this to increase my opportunity to stride. And then 2 copies of Sunrise Knight Jeffrey. Unite. At the end of the battle that this unit boosted, you may place him in the soul and draw a card. So he also fuels your soul, and he lets you draw a card. So that's grade 1s. Grade 2s, which is the main engine for the deck. We play 4 copies of Knight of the Remaining Sun Henrinus, I don't know. When he's placed on the rear guard, Generation Break 1, you may counterblast 1, soul blast 1. You may pay the cost. If you do, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, search for 1 card among them and call it your rear guard, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you have a Vanguard with Gurguit and its card name, the unit called with this effect, and this unit gets plus 3,000 power. So if you play, what is nice about this card is you can splash it in any of your Gold Paladin decks, but if you play it in a Gurguit deck, you get a little bonus. Him and the unit that he calls will gain plus 3,000 power, so he's really nice. Next, we play 3 copies of Knight of Spring's Light Paramore. Paramore came out of set 7 when Gurguit got his original main boost, and then he got more of it in 8, so I guess I shouldn't say original, but... Well, hang on, Yep. Paramore, never mind. Unite, he gets plus 2,000 power, so under the Unite, he becomes an 11k, which is really nice. And then when this Generation Break 1, when this unit is placed on the rear guard, you may counterblast 1. If you do, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, search for 1 card among them, and call it into the rear guard as the same column as this unit, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So, that is good. Next, we play 3 copies of Knight of the Faint Sun Marcia. Marcia, Unite. Put this unit into your soul at the end of each. Put this unit into your soul at the end of each turn. You may pay the cost. If you do, you may countercharge 1. And she also has resist, so she can't be Griffin, she can't be Sky Guardian. She's just a good card, and she helps you get you another countercharge, so you continue using your abilities, because you can countercharge sometime 3 or 4 in a turn easy if you start chaining off all your effects. So it's nice to get the cards out that you can run back into the soul and then unflip. And then we play 2 Holy Mage Puel. Puel is one of the old cards. He came back in set 3 when Gurguit originally came out. When this unit attacks a Vanguard and is boosted, you may counterblast 1. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, call one of them, and then put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order, and then shuffle your deck. So these 2 are interchangeable, I feel. You can play 3 Paramore or 3 Puel. I like Paramore a little better because he can be an 11k attacker under Unite, so he gets a little boost by himself. And I really like Herenius, so these numbers work well for me. I'm hoping, you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Gurguit gets next. So, and then we'll go from there. But as of right now, this grade 2 lineup does really well because whenever I stride, if I can pull any of those 7 cards, any of my Herniuses or any of my Paramores, I'm instantly going to call something else and just start chaining off skills. So if I do use Gurguit's stride skill and I pull either one of these 2 units and activate their skill, Unite's going to trigger. So. And then for the grade 3s, we play 4 copies of Sunrise, Ray Knight, Gurguit. Gurguit's Generation Break. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. At the beginning of the guard step of the battle that this unit is attacked, you may pay the cost. If you do, look at the top 4 cards from your deck, search for one among them, and place it in the Guardian circle at rest, and then shuffle your deck. So that's really good because it gives you a little more of a hand to deal with. Well, not really a hand, but it's kind of an extension of your hand. But anywho, and then anytime you stride on him, counterblast 1, look at the top 4 of the deck, search for one among them, call it to a rearguard circle, and then that unit gets plus 2,000 power. So, and then for the last grade 3s, I play 3 copies of Salvation Lion Grand Ezel Scissors. Grand Ezel Scissors, his limit break is Counterblast 2, Soul Blast 2, unlock all locked cards. If the number of Gold Paladin rearguards you have is 5 or more until end of turn, this unit gets plus 10,000 power and plus 1 crit. And in the end of turn, choose a card from your damage zone, turn it face up, and soul charge 1. And then also when he attacks, he gets 1,000 power for every other Gold Paladin rearguard on the field. The reason that we play Ezel in this deck is because if you run into Chaos Breaker or Messiah, Messiah being the more likely one you'll run into, in my opinion, because of their ability to chain attack. You need to be able to get out of the hole that they put you in, because if this deck runs out of counterblasts or they get locked, the deck just stops. The deck's push just immediately stops and they can't do anything. So you need to be able to get your units unlocked. And this card, to my understanding, got reprinted in the Revival collection. So now there's no excuse for Gold Paladin players not to have this. I would recommend having at least 3. I own 4, but I would highly recommend that you get at least 3 of these for your Gold Paladin decks, and even the strides. So for the strides, first we are playing 2 copies of Golden Dragon Scourge Point Dragon. Scourge Point is your first stride every single time because he can just push out so much freaking power, it's not even funny. His strides, his skill is when your unit is placed on the rear guard from your deck, the unit called and himself gains 5,000 power, and that happens every single time. So anytime that if you have Gurguit and you stride into Scourge, whatever unit you call is going to gain 2,000 power off Gurguit's stride skill, and then 5,000 from Scourge, so it's immediately going to gain 7,000 power. Scourge is going to gain 5,000 power, and if you're fortunate enough to hit one of the 7 grade 2s that you have that call a unit from the deck as soon as they're placed, then that unit's going to gain 5,000 power, and Scourge is going to gain another 5,000 power, and the power just keeps on going up and higher and higher and higher, and it just gets insane. And you can have Scourge swing for 46 easy, and that's he usually swings somewhere between 41 and 46 for me, because that first stride, you'd be surprised. Out of 10 games, 6 out of 10 times you can kill him with your first stride if you just trigger right and you rushed them down the right way, and they just couldn't deal with any of it. Next, we play 4 copies of Golden Dragon, Glorious Rain Dragon. This card came out in set 8, and it is by far the best Gold Paladin stride that we have gotten yet. And I am including that over the Gurguit stride that we have right now. The Gurguit stride is the second, Scourge is the third, but this card is the best by far. His ability, Unite. Counterblast 1 and choose a face-down card named Golden Dragon, Glorious Raining Dragon from your G-Zone and turn it face up. Choose 2 of your rear guards and put them on the bottom of your deck in any order. When this unit attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, look at the top 7 cards from the top of your deck. Search for up to the same number of cards among them as there are face-up cards in your G-Zone. Call them to separate rear guards, shuffle your deck, and if 3 or more units were called, you countercharge 1 and soul charge 1. So, you can basically get him off for free if you call 3 units, and you get to soul charge 1 to help increase your soul for Gurguit's stride skill. You can get 7 to 8 attacks off with his ability, and that's what makes him so freaking good. Next, we play 4 copies of Absolution Lion King Mithril Ezel. We play this because this is part of an Ezel deck, and Counterblast 1, choose a face down. His ability is Vanguard Act. Counterblast 1, choose a face down card named Absolution Lion King Mithril Ezel in your G-Zone and turn it face up. If you have a heart card with Ezel in its card name, unlock all of your locked cards. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Search for 1 card among them and call it to the rear guard. Shuffle your deck and increase the called unit's power and this unit's power by the original power of the unit called with this card's effect. So basically, in a nutshell, if I kind of threw you off there because the wording on him is a little weird. If you say you called Gurguit off the top, the Gurguit that you called and himself will gain Gurguit's original power. So Gurguit and Ezel, in this case, would gain 11,000 each. Now, you might be asking yourself, if you stride into Gurguit, what use is Ezel to you? And the answer is none. But the last G unit that we play is we play 2 copies of Sunrise Ray Knight, Sunrise Ray Radiant Sword Gurguit, and his ability is Unite, Generation Break 2, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 2. This unit gets plus 5,000 power for each of your rear guards until end of turn, and then you get to choose up to 5 of your rear guards, and they get 5,000 power each. And it's not limited to once per turn, so you can actually spam this effect and get your board crazy-ass big. I've had it to where my Vanguard column is over 100k, and both my rear guards are over 90. Are pushing 90. Or even 90 themselves. It's absolutely insane how much power this deck can push. And yes, guys, I know you hear that Christmas clock in the background, and it's way past Christmas. It's just I have been lazy and haven't put up the damn box back in my closet yet that has my Christmas decorations in it. So shame on me, but oh well. But anywho, you might be asking yourself, if you do not ride Ezel at the start of your if you do not ride Ezel, then what use is the Ezel stride units to you? Because you can use all of these stride units even though if you ride him. Glorious Rain does not require a Gurguit heart, but if you do have one, you do get that countercharge and soul charge 1 at the end phase. Scourge does not require anything specific, and neither does Gurguit. But if you do ride Gurguit, you can stride into Ezel, you just can't use his effect. But the way I view it is, if you do ride Gurguit like you usually do, your opponent is not going to be able to survive 1, 2, 3, 2 Scourges, 2 Glorious Rains, and 2 Sunrise Ray Gurguits. They're not going to be able to survive all that. As much power as this deck pushes, taking these away, this right here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strides. That's all you need. Because the immense amount of power that this deck pushes. And I'm even including Angel Feather in this discussion. So that's how much power this deck pushes. You can change it up, like if you don't want to play, say, 4 of these, you could drop 2 of these and make them something else. That might be what happens that I have to do if Gurguit gets another stride, which it looks like he is, or, you know, we're just going to have to wait and see. But for right now, this is perfect for me. I have no complaints about the G-Zone. Next, we play 2 copies of the G-Guardian from the first Fighters collection when G-Guardians came out, which he's placed on the Guardian Circle. If you have 2 or more rear guards, which is really easy to do, this becomes a 20k shield. Then we play 1 Golden Beast Slammy Flare. When she's placed in the Guardian Circle, take 1 of your rear guards, place it on the bottom of your deck, look at the top 4 cards, look at the top 5 cards from the top of your deck, search for 2 cards with different grades from among them and call them to the Guardian Circle, and then shuffle your deck. And then 1 Screw. The only problem that this is, this Screw I would make Dismal to protect you from VMAX. Or if you wanted to keep Screw, you could drop Scourge and put in Dismal there. You got those 2 options there, because in every G-Zone, Dismal should be in at 1, in my opinion, right now, just because of VMAX. Now, if you're going to your locals and there's not a VMAX player there, then you're fine. But when I show you guys my deck profiles, I'm basing it off a competitive standpoint, and from a competitive standpoint, you should have Dismal in your G-Zone. And in this, I would either cut 1 Scourge, or I would move Dismal up here and play 5 G-Guardians, or if you still only want to play 4, just make this a Dismal. So, there's you a couple of options. So anyway, guys, that is my Gurguit Ezel deck profile. It's a lot of fun to play. This deck is really insane. Very fun, pushes out a shitload of power, chain attacks like a motherfucker, and is really difficult to deal with if you just can't keep up with its speed. And there are very few decks that can, because Gurguit just Superior Calls a shitload. And it's just, I really enjoy this deck. I did not pick up the deck originally when it came out, and then when I read, and that's just because before Glorious Reign, this deck just didn't have a go-to stride unit that just continued to push its main idea, and that's chain attacking. I mean, but I had all the pieces. I had just never really slapped it together. Except the original Gurguits that I had were originally my teammate Sam's, and then I traded for him. So, and then I picked up 2 more on my own, and then finished the deck. And I really enjoy this deck, guys. It is so much fun to play. If you have not tried out Gurguit and you're looking for a good deck to play in this format, I would highly recommend Gurguit decks, specifically Gurguit Ezel. But that's just my opinion, because Gurguit and Ezel go so well together, and it helps you combat Link Joker. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up this video for me, and I'll see you next time.